Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Maheen. I am from Department of BS Biotechnology and my roll number is 028. The topic of my presentation is electron energy loss spectroscopy interpretations. In electron energy loss spectroscopy, a material is exposed to a beam of electron with a known narrow range of kinetic energies. This technique has seen great advancement in the last decade primarily due to transformative instrumentation development. Monochromatated electron sources 1, 2, 3 and high resolution spectrometers 4, 5 improve energy resolution more than an order of magnitude, battering energy loss near edge structures. Analysis 6 and enabling the structure of phonons and optical properties 8. Electron energy loss spectroscopy in the transmission electron microscope is an extremely powerful characterization tool offering partially dissolved data and elemental composition, chemical bonds, optical properties, and vibrational modes. This technique has seen great advancement in the last decade primarily due to transformative instrumentation development. History. The technique was developed by James Hillier and R. F. Baker in the mid 1940s but was not widely used over the next 50 years, only becoming more widespread in research in 1990s due to advance in microscope instrumentation and vacuum technology, with modern instrumentation becoming widely available in the laboratories worldwide. The technical and scientific developments from the mid 1990s have been rapid. The technique is able to take advantage of modern aberration corrected probe forming system to attain spatial resolution down to 0.1 nanometer while with a monochromatic electron source and careful deconvolution in the energy resolution can be 0.1 electron volt or better. Now we'll talk about the EELS spectrum. The EELS spectrum has three regions. Each region arises due to different group of electron sample interaction. As you can see in the figure, the region 1 0 to 10 electron volt is the zero loss region. The region 2 10 to 60 electron volt is the low loss region, and the region 3 which is smaller which is greater than 60 electron volt is the core loss region. Now we'll talk about the high loss region. The most important region of the EELS spectrum from the microanalysis is the high loss region. The signal in the core loss region is very weak relative to that in the zero loss and low loss regions. Therefore, the core loss region of the spectrum is often amplified 50 to 100 times as you can see in the figure. The peaks or edges arises because of an interaction between the incident electrons and the inner shell electrons of the atoms in the specimen. When an incident electron ionizes an atom, it produces a specific amount of energy. The amount of energy lost in ionizing the target atoms is the electron energy loss. Now we'll talk about the low loss area plasmon. In the EELS spectra, plasmon losses always occur except the ultra thin specimens used to estimate the thickness of the sample. However, when the specimen is quite thick, multiple plasmon losses will make the straightforward analysis impossible. Now we'll talk about the comparison in the EELS spectrum. The low loss spectrum contains a zero loss peak as well as the plasmon peaks and contain information about the band structure and dielectric properties of the sample. The high loss spectrum contains the ionization edges and the arises due to inner shell ionization in the sample. Now I will tell you about the methods of interpretation, which are experimental setup, K2 firmware modifications, general EELS equation, ZLP equation, extraction of MTF, extraction of LSF, resolution and F FOV stimulations, SNR analysis, HAADF image acquisition, SI analysis, sample preparation, and data availability, which we will talk later. Now we will talk about the qualitative comparison shown in the figure. The qualitative comparison of A, which you can see above, ID sensor, and B, which you can see below, back thinned front illuminated maps, DD sensor. Each schematic shows a single primary electron passing through the sensor. Solid lines represent electron trajections, dotted lines represent photon trajections. Stars represents scattering events. The shaded yellow region represents electron hole pair generation. The pixel pitches correspond to the Gatton US1000 FTXP and Gatton K2 for the ID and DD sensor respectively. Layer thickness for the DD sensor are taken and do not necessarily correspond to the K2. Now we will talk about the sensor which are compared here in the figure. Comparison of the measured EELS energy resolution with both sensor is the ZLP and MTF for the DD sensor are shown together with the ID sensor operated at equivalent dispersion and energy field of view. Comparing sensor of performance at the dispersion of 0.5 electron volt per channel, which you can see above, is the ZLP FWHM for the DD sensor is only 1/3 that of ID sensor, demonstrating a large improvement in the performance at a dispersion of 0.125 electron volt per channel. The difference between sensor is reduced, though DD still offers a moderate improvement in the measured energy resolution. We also compare energy resolution between sensor and constant energy FOV, which is determined by the detector pixel count multiplied by the dispersion. This is the sensor table which shows the FWHM and FWTM values extracted from the data which we have seen in the figure before. Now we'll talk about calculated energy resolution electron volt. Calculated energy resolution plotted against energy FOV for both sensor for two different electron sources. The required energy resolution for various EELS applications identified. The shaded region, which you can see in the figure, is the region represented combined energy resolution FOV, which is accessible with the DD sensor but not the ID sensor. Now this is the primary electron per channel. In the figure you can see the SNR which is in the table A for the which is in the graph A for each sensor as a function of total electron counts per energy channel. And in the B section you can see DQE as a function of electron counts per energy channel. Calculation was performed in the equation 3. While not immediately obvious in the SNR data, the reduction in NF and V comparison is 130 into beaming offered by the DD sensor dramatically increased spectrum quality. To quantify this improvement, we evaluate DQE for each EELS sensor. The DQE is a critical parameter for determining a detector's performance, and it is defined as the ratio of the square of the recorded SNR to the square of the input SNR. The equation I was talking about was DQE is equal to SNR 2 over SNR I and into 2. An ideal detector has a DQE of unity, however the DQE of real detector is always smaller. In this figure you can see the energy loss in the spectrum imaging and fine structure analysis. EEL spectra are extracted from the SI of the PGT LSMO heterostructure. A HAADF image of the sample is shown. All spectra were background subtracted and normalized to the integrated L. edge intensity, the edge onset were aligned and this position was set to 0 on the energy loss axis. From the SI acquired with the DD sensor, the spectrum extracted from STO layer clearly shows four distinct peaks, which you can see: blue, black, red and yellow and green. The spectrum extracted from the PGT shows distinctly different Ti fine structure, with relative weight of T features strongly reduced compared to STO. For the ID sensor operated in 1.0 electron volt channel dispersion, equivalent FOV to DD sensor at 0.5 electron volt channel, splitting of L and L2 edges is barely resolved, and splitting of E and T transition is entirely absent in the figure. Now we'll talk about the elemental mapping. From each acquired SI, elemental maps were constructed for the ID sensor. Simultaneously, detection of TI and SR may only be achieved with the dispersion of one electron volt channel, which provides the necessary 2K electron volt FOV. As such, we only present an elemental maps for the ID sensor at 1 electron volt channel, which we compare to DD sensor at 0.5 electron volt channel, also 2K electron volt FOV. Elemental maps of the S are acquired with each sensor. For the line profiles in the bottom panel, counts were integrated parallel to the interface and normalized such that average SR signal within the STO layer was 1. Now I will tell about the conclusion of interpretation of electron energy loss spectroscopy, which I found that we have evaluated the performance of electron counting with DD for EELS by comparing the GATEN K2 Summit with a GATEN US 1000 FTXP. Our findings show that the improved PSF and pixel density of DD sensor provides a remarkable combination of energy resolution and energy FOV, which will facilitate simultaneous elemental mapping and fine structure analysis. Counting mode spectroscopy enabled by fine structure analysis, counting mode spectroscopy enabled by fast electronics, and pixel design of DD sensor largely eliminates readout and FANO LANDAU noise, allowing acquisition of short noise limited spectra down to elementary extremely low doses. This benefit promises to enable and enhance a broad array of application including trace elements detection and analysis, low dose chemical mapping, time resolved EELS, and analysis of high energy loss events. This is all from my side. My part is from the group 6. My part is the last part of the group 6. Thank you.